Sunday.
You're going to run it?
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Corey Smith. I am one of the co-chairs of the Reconciling Task Force.
And I'm Angela Poisette. I'm the other co-chair of the Reconciling Task Force.
And then we have other members of the task force. Would anybody like to stand up and introduce themselves?
I would rather have them just.
Not you, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm Jean Saberholm, member of the task force. I'm Pat Clark, part of the task force. I'm Jerry Dennis, I'm part of the task force. Cheryl Pepperhill, part of the task force.
Carl Long, part of the task force.
Carl, we're on camera. You gotta use the...
I have to use that. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Carl Long. I'm part of the task force.
All right, so we just want to thank you all for taking time to be here with us this morning. As you know, the church is voting next Sunday, February 23rd at 10 a.m. as to whether or not we should officially join the Reconciling Ministries Network. We've been doing a lot of education up until this point to prepare for the vote, to try and help people, or try and help answer questions people may have. We understand there may have been some questions that were not answered during those education sessions, or people were not able to make it to those educational sessions. So we wanted to give you a final opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. So we don't have a formal presentation prepared today. It is literally, if you have a question, please let us know, and we will answer it for you. I have paper, if you would like to write your question down and have somebody read it on your behalf. That way your question can be anonymous, or we have a microphone that we will happily bring to you if you would like to stand up and ask your question yourself. So, show of hands. All right, thank you, Karen.
Can you repeat the absentee ballot process?
Absolutely, that's an easy one, great. So, if you are not able to join us next Sunday at 10 a.m., you may cast your vote via an absentee ballot. You need to simply mail something to the church office at Reconciling Task Force to say, I vote in favor of, or I vote against. You can also use email, if email is your preference, and our email address is reconciling@stmatthews-bowie.org. Votes need to be in place, or in the office, or in the email inbox by 12 noon on Friday the 21st. That will give us time to collect them all, to have them here Sunday morning to be counted with the official vote. The official vote will be counted right after it's taken place in front of everybody on Sunday, and we will have the final decision then. Quorum will be made up of the people present and the absentee ballots, and 75% will pass. Any other questions?
There's Pat. Actually, I have two questions. There's Pat. Is there, or has the Finance Committee considered a possible drop in revenue because of people who will be unhappy with this vote one way or the other?
Jean, can you give her that mic?
Hi, I'm Pat Clark, your financial secretary. We have not discussed it, but I don't believe, I think we've been advertising this more than long enough, so those who are already dissatisfied probably maybe weren't some of the ones that pledged this year that did last year. But no, we have not discussed it. There's always the possibility that someone might leave, and if so, then probably the revenue will go with them. But we're hoping that people take this, as a quorum, as those that St. Matthew's lives by this now. So we're not sure why there's really much, if any, dissent. So,
To kind of piggyback off what Pat just said, we had several questions over the last 2 weeks about how would it change, what would look different. And it's not going to look different. It will not affect the day-to-day business or workings or missions or anything of St. Matthew's. It is just publicly announcing what St. Matthew's does and putting it out there for more people to know.
2 seconds. So if anything, it would have a positive impact and that new community members would be able to easily find St. Matthew's to know that we are a welcoming community. So people who do not already come to St. Matthew's, do not already know about St. Matthew's, if they are new to the community and they are looking for a church that is open and welcoming, they would go to the Reconciling Ministries Network website, type in their city address, and a list of churches who are reconciling would pop up. So St. Matthew's would pop up and they would say, okay, great, I'm going to go try that church. They would come to St. Matthew's, see how wonderful we are, and they would decide to stay. Okay, Mary, and then, actually, yeah, Mary, and then she had 2.
So my second question is there a cost involved with being part of this reconciling group?
There is no cost associated with it. You may choose to make donations to the Reconciling Ministries Network if you would like, but it is not a requirement. Yes?
Hi, Ruth Hendricks. I'm not sure if this is on.
It's on.
It's,
I'm not sure people understand that the Reconciling Network also works on gender equality and racial equality. It isn't simply the gay issues, but it's a much broader human rights issue.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay.
Is this an East Coast, West Coast thing, or what has been the reception of this change across the country? Do you know?
So the Reconciling Ministries Network is a national organization. There are over 1,500, I think, over 1,500 United Methodist churches across the country who have already joined the Reconciling Ministries Network. In fact, just this week, a congregation in Mount Airy, Maryland, joined the network. So it's not a change, if that.
Just wondering what the response was in the Methodist Church to this alternative religion.
So the question was, what is the change, the response within the United Methodist Church as a whole, within General Conference, are you saying? Across the country. So the Reconciling Ministries Network works within the United Methodist Church to advocate. So they are a group of advocates, or a group of churches who advocate within the United Methodist Church. So for example, at General Conference last year, when you had the traditionalists versus everybody, the one church plan versus the traditionalist, right? The Reconciling Ministries Network works with the one church plan to advocate for why we should be one church. Does that answer your question? Somewhat. Does anybody have a... I'll come right back to you as well.
In terms of the growth of the movement across the country, I think that's the sense of your question. Where is it concentrated?
Well, how has this change been received?
It's largely spread throughout the East Coast, the West Coast, the North and the South of the country. There are pockets of resistance to this idea. But then there were pockets of resistance to Jesus Christ.
No. Hold the mic up to your mouth.
How are we doing in meeting our debt, getting control of our property?
There was a presentation about that last week and that we're doing really well. Like, we have a large, I don't know if you want to speak to it, or, I mean, it's not really
Related
the
to
focus of this question and answer session, but.
To me, I heard two questions from you. See if this answers Jane. One is, those that have joined, how has it affected their congregation? Was that like one of your questions? I know, but yes, so across the board as churches have joined, what's been the result from those churches? I think that was one question. And then the other, as far as our property, this has nothing to do with that. We are working on paying down the mortgage. And so last week I had a presentation that showed that we've cut back 37% of the principal since we started. And people are giving, and we're well on our way to 2021 of owning our own building. But this reconciling has nothing to do with that.
Unless you have what Mary brought up to you. Jean, maybe you. Yeah, if you want to follow up.
So just to the question, I mean, there are a lot of answers to that question, but maybe it's related to the potential plans that will be approved, in the future. And one of the conversations was, if whatever form or shape of Methodists we're going to be at the end of all the plans that are approved, can you take your property as a church if you don't agree or so. So right now, all of those things are still undecided because we don't have yet a plan that is approved by the General Conference. They're going to gather again in May, and there is this new plan put together, by 16 people, organizations, that if it passes, it might be the best option for all the churches to decide what we're going to become. And then decisions about property and how you leave or how you stay will be made. But none of that has been decided. But one thing that is important too is that, which is, again, you didn't ask this question, but it's also related to some churches don't pay apportionments, and so all of those economic repercussions. I think that regardless of that, we want to be in good standing with everything, so that when decisions are made at the larger level, St. Matthew's, as it is deciding next week, can decide what St. Matthew's wants to do with no issues. And so paying the debt is a good thing regardless. Paying the apportionment is a good thing regardless, because we want to be in a good place and to continue to do the work that we're doing. That doesn't change. The work, St. Matthew's doesn't change.
I wanted to use Isaac. Isaac somehow finds out who determines that they're reconciling congregations, and he posts them on Facebook. And I've seen recently Iowa, Minnesota, Louisiana, Kansas, they're all over the United States. They're not just clustered on the coast.
Right. It's nationwide.
Texas is one of the largest in youth reconciling ministry. Okay, he just said that Texas is one of the largest reconciling congregations. States with congregations. I just wanted to offer an observation, and hopefully it's just that. Roughly around the same time frame that we have in earnest discussed the possibility of becoming a reconciling congregation that is joining the reconciling ministry, it appears to me to have coincided more or less with our debt retirement campaign. So concern about the finances has been expressed, very legitimate concerns, but based on Pat's presentation last week, it strikes me that at the same time we have been discussing joining the reconciling ministry, we have had what I think sounds like a wildly successful capital campaign to retire our debt. This is the best thing that's happened with respect to retiring the congregation's debt since I've been at St. Matthew's, and that goes back to 2004. So, as a former pastor would conclude, just saying.
These have been great thoughts, great questions, great dialogue. Does anybody else? Yes.
Do we have anyone from our congregation planning to attend the general conference? The big one?
I mean, no one, I was not elected or, so, but, I mean, you can always go as an observer. I wasn't planning on going, but, like again, just in terms of the process, each conference gets to elect a slate of a group of clergy and laity. And, it's a very, I won't say competitive, but there's so it's competitive, and you have to put your name forward, and you have to, so long story short, no, I didn't, I'm not going.
And another capacity question, but as an observer, does the mention be interested in going for that reason?
From within the congregation? I don't know. That's a new, do you want to go? In Minnesota.
When is this area?
Let me look at my phone.
It was in Minnesota, that's the place. Minnesota was enough for me, no.
Wait, is it when it's cold? Because I'm not going. I'll watch the live.
May.
While he's looking at it, any other questions?
It's May 5th through the 15th. It's in Minneapolis. So, yeah. So it's actually it's longer than you think. It's actually a big commitment for clergy and lay people to go before, because there's a lot of preparation and meetings and legislation and things that people are gathering within their conferences to prepare. And then the actual conference, general conference, is 10 days, and they're really long sessions. You have worship, you have sermons, you have things. But again, this year is really going to be dominated by, the proposal that was presented. And again, there's a lot of, Chelsea was here, she will give a lot more details, but I think what I would say to all of us is that there are a lot of ifs still to be decided in terms of what's going to happen, what plan is approved. If, let's say, the plan that was proposed just recently passes, there has to be a provision so that you vote for, the plan, and then you have to vote to dissolve the book of the, it's just, for those of you who love all of those things of process and constitution and lawyers, and this is a dream come true. Still very complicated because literally, in theory, one way of doing it is that people who, for example, may support the traditional plan will have to go to rent another building or something like have their separate conference so that they can form their book of discipline, so that they can begin also the process. So it is very complicated. So all we can do is need prayer to see what's going to happen, but there's really nothing to say.
Hi, I'm Jody Red. I think the important thing we all need to take away from this is voting for joining the Reconciling Network does not change anything that's going on here at our local church. All it's doing is becoming public about who we are, what we like, what we love, so that, as Corey mentioned, new people coming to town, they'll either go to the Reconciling Network or they'll go to our website. It'll be on our website also that we are a Reconciling Church. And that is the only thing that is happening. Nothing else is affected.
Going on?
said, and I know this has been published and spoken, but just to add as a closing maybe, if we vote yes to become one, it's not a done deal. We can change our minds later once we see where things are going. So it's not a forever decision.
Right. It's not marriage. Yeah, but it's hard to get out. I mean, you don't, but it's, when I say it's not marriage, it's like, you don't enter into a marriage with the anticipation of wanting to get out. We're not going to enter into this commitment with the anticipation of needing to get out. However, we are able to get out, and we're able to get out a lot easier than you're able to get out of marriage. It's not buying a house. Maybe that's a better analogy. It's a much easier commitment than that. Okay, so, yep, so if there are no other questions, I'll just review the process of voting one more time. Okay. On Tuesday, because we're not here on Monday. You got the email, you guys started the email, I forgot. Okay, on Tuesday, fingers crossed that I get the email out on time. There will be an email blast coming out to remind you how to vote. That way, if you're going to mail in your vote, it will be a last minute, oh shoot, I need to get that in the mail today. Not today, but Tuesday. I need to get that in the mail by Tuesday so that it will be delivered to the church by Friday. Or a reminder to, oh, I'm already in my email. Let me just create a new email to click and email reconciling@stmatthews-bowie.org. You just need to write in favor of or against, and then your name. And the address, yes, the address is in the bulletin. It's been in the circuit rider. It's been in the midweek messenger. It'll be on the email blast. Yes, Jean, can you pass the microphone to Karen?
At the meeting this morning for the Discovery Kids, Corey mentioned that they are allowed to vote as members of the church. And so my question is, can college students or people that are still members here, even though they don't come every week, can they also still vote?
Yes, if you are an active member or participant within St. Matthews, you are encouraged to vote. If you are not able to be here on Sunday morning, we do not want that to preclude you from being able to vote. That's why we've been trying to get the email address out there and the absentee votes out there. Send in your vote. It just has to be here by Friday at noon. So yes, college students, parents, please reach out to your college students and encourage them to vote. Yes.
Harvey, is there some percentage of the membership, did you say 75% has to vote? No.
Quorum. So 75% of quorum has to be in favor for it to pass. Quorum will be established not by the membership listing, but by those who are present on Sunday morning and those who have sent in an absentee ballot. So if we get 100 votes, or if we get between absentee and people in the room, if we have 100 votes, quorum would be 75%. 75 people would need to vote in favor for it to pass.
Corey, would you please address regular attenders who are not members?
Yes, so if you attend, so for example, my family and I started participating and actively engaging in St. Matthews 2 years ago. We had not joined the church until 4 months ago. Had the vote originally taken place before I had the opportunity to join St. Matthews, I still would have been able to vote. So if you are a regular attender and engage with St. Matthews, whether you can continue, or whether you contribute by your prayers, your presence, your gifts, or your service, Whether you are a member or not, you have a vote.
Age?
You contribute by your prayers, your presence, your gifts, or your service. Violet, you get to vote. Violet is here every week. Violet is an acolyte. Violet actively participates in Sunday school. This is Violet's church. This is Violet's family. Violet, Violet, you've been confirmed?
Yeah.
Violet has been confirmed. We have some kids who, we have some people who, baptism. She's been baptized. But she contributes to St. Matthew's by her prayers, her presence, maybe not her financial gifts, but her talents and her service. Violet gets a vote. Yay! Anybody else? Would one of y'all like to close us out in prayer? Would one of y'all like to?
For your safety to the task force and all the work that you all have done.
Can I say something before he prays? No, I'm not going to pray. Many of you know I'm a member of Reconciling Ministries. I have been for about 10 years. Shortly after I retired, I saw the necessity to do that. I read your, what do you call that on the internet? Yes. Your mission statement, I would have called it back in the day. The upshot of it is that I recognize you as a Reconciling Ministries church. Because you say so. You say so in your behavior. You say so in your mission statement. So I really didn't have to ask the question. What you're talking about doing is formalizing that so that other people know it. You're witnessing by doing this. Right?
Let's pray. We are very thankful, God, for the ways you have called St. Matthew's to be in service to this community. And for this process that clarifies the work and the mission of this congregation. We know that this is a challenging time, a difficult time for many different reasons. But as we discern the way we're going to vote and the way we're going to move forward, allow us to be centered in your love, so that through our love, people may know that you love all people. So we offer this process that has been not done lightly. And so we thank you because St. Matthew's is a congregation that is doing its best to be faithful. And so we bless and we put in your hands this process, trusting that in the end, we want to be more like you. So bless this effort and this congregation, and may we continue to be people who love all people. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.